First Contact Protocol. Commander Elena Reyes stood motionless at the observation deck of Orbital Defense Platform Artemis, her dark eyes fixed on the holographic display. Numbers and trajectories scrolled across her field of vision, confirmed what their quantum detection array had picked up 3 days ago. Something was coming. Not asteroids or cosmic debris, but ships. Massive vessels moving with purpose toward Earth. Director Chen is requesting your presence in the war room, Commander, Lieutenant Kapoor said, his voice deliberately calm. Elena nodded, her short black hair catching the artificial light as she turned. Tell her I'm on my way. The Earth Defense Coalition wasn't supposed to exist. For 50 years, humanity had maintained the illusion of being confined to their solar system, presenting to the cosmos the image of a young species just beginning to explore their neighboring planets. The truth was far different. When scientists at CERN discovered the quantum signature of advanced civilizations in 2037, humanity made a collective decision through a secret United Nations protocol. Earth would hide. They would develop in silence, building defenses and technologies away from prying eyes. The coalition was born from this directive, a global force hidden from public view, preparing for the day they knew would eventually come. That day had arrived. Elena entered the war room where 20 of Earth's highest-ranking military and scientific leaders had gathered. At the center stood Director Mai Chen, the architect of Earth's defensive strategy. Our visitors have crossed Neptune's orbit, Chen announced without preamble. Trajectory analysis confirms they're headed directly for Earth. Estimated arrival: 72 hours. The holographic display at the center of the room showed 47 vessels of varying sizes, moving in a precise formation that spoke of military discipline. Have they detected our orbital platforms? General Williams asked. Negative, Elena replied. The quantum displacement fields are functioning perfectly. To any external observer, Earth appears to have minimal satellite coverage and a single relatively primitive space station. This was humanity's greatest deception and their greatest defense. While publicly maintaining the appearance of early spacefaring capability, Earth had secretly constructed a network of defensive platforms, automated drone swarms, and weapons systems that utilized their breakthrough in quantum physics, technology that allowed them to phase partially out of normal spacetime, becoming virtually undetectable. It's time to implement First Contact Protocol, Chen said, her voice steady. Commander Reyes, you'll lead the response team. Elena nodded. She had trained for this moment her entire career. What if they're peaceful? Asked Dr. Abrams, one of the scientific advisors. Shouldn't we? If they're peaceful, they would have announced themselves from the outer system. Elena cut in. They're running silent, weapons hot. That's not the approach of a diplomatic mission. The next 48 hours were a blur of activity. Earth's hidden defenses shifted to full alert while maintaining their quantum displacement. On the surface, life continued normally. The public knew nothing of the approaching armada, a situation that would remain until absolutely necessary. Elena moved her command to Lunar Base Sentinel, the Coalition's primary command center hidden beneath the far side of the moon. From there, she could coordinate Earth's response without the aliens detecting unusual activity. They're broadcasting, Lieutenant Kapoor announced as the alien fleet crossed Mars' orbit. Multiple frequencies, omnidirectional. Let's hear it, Elena ordered. The message came through in perfect English, clearly translated from their original language by advanced systems. Attention, developing world. This is Supreme Commander Vextor of the Voidborn Collective. Your planet has been selected for assessment and potential incorporation into our protectorate. Your primitive detection systems have likely just noticed our approach. Do not be alarmed. Resist, and you will be subjugated. Cooperate, and you will be elevated. You have 24 hours to present your planetary leadership for evaluation. The war room fell silent. They think we're defenseless, Dr. Okamura, head of quantum physics, observed. Our deception worked. Send the prepared response, Elena ordered. Audio only, using basic radio waves. Make it sound like we're scrambling to coordinate between nations. Earth's reply was calculated to reinforce the aliens' assumptions, a series of confused, overlapping messages from various nations, expressing shock, fear, and diplomatic willingness to meet, all carefully designed to make Earth appear exactly as the Voidborn expected. A fractured, primitive world encountering advanced aliens for the first time. The alien fleet entered Earth orbit 18 hours later. Their massive ships, dark and angular, took position above major cities. Smaller craft deployed, hovering ominously but taking no hostile action. On the surface, governments followed the coalition's plan, appearing to hastily assemble representatives while secretly evacuating key personnel to hardened shelters. Elena watched from Lunar Base Sentinel as a Voidborn shuttle descended toward the United Nations headquarters in New York, where a delegation of world leaders waited. In reality, they were coalition officers trained for this exact scenario. All quantum defense systems at ready status, Lieutenant Kapoor confirmed. Ghost protocol functioning at 100% efficiency. They still have no idea what we're capable of. Let's keep it that way, Elena replied. I want to know exactly what we're dealing with before we show our hand. The meeting between the Voidborn representatives and Earth's leadership was broadcast globally. The aliens were humanoid, but clearly not human. Tall, with blue-tinted skin and eyes that reflected light like mirrors. They spoke confidently, condescendingly, offering protection and advancement in exchange for Earth becoming a client world in their collective. You are fortunate, the alien leader, Vextor, said to the assembled humans. Many species encounter far less benevolent forces first. The cosmos is filled with predators. We offer shelter from the storm. Through hidden quantum communicators, Elena received real-time analysis of the aliens' technology. Their ships were impressive but relied on principles Earth scientists had already theorized, and in some cases, surpassed. Their weapons were primarily energy-based, with shields that operated on predictable frequencies. They're scanning everything, Dr. Okamura reported from her station. But the quantum masking is holding. They're seeing exactly what we want them to see. Pre-quantum technology, fusion power in early stages, basic particle weapons. The delegation is requesting guidance. Came a secure transmission from New York. The Voidborn are demanding a demonstration of our most advanced weapons technology to assess our potential contribution to the collective. Elena considered her options. This was an expected development. The aliens wanting to confirm their technological superiority. It was also an opportunity. Authorize a demonstration of the Prometheus system, she ordered. Version 1 only. The Prometheus system was a planetary defense weapon developed 15 years ago, now obsolete by coalition standards, but still impressive to anyone without quantum technology. It would show the aliens that Earth had some technological capability while reinforcing their belief that humanity posed no threat to them. The demonstration took place in the Atlantic Ocean, far from populated areas. A coalition vessel, disguised to look like a conventional warship, fired a particle beam at a predetermined target. The energy release was spectacular, but carefully calibrated to appear less advanced than the Voidborn's own capabilities. Vextor's reaction was exactly as predicted, patronizing approval tinged with relief that Earth posed no threat. Acceptable for your development stage, he announced. With our guidance, you could advance this technology significantly within a few decades. Elena allowed herself a small smile. The deception was working perfectly. Earth would appear to reluctantly accept protectorate status, buying time while gathering intelligence on the Voidborn and their technology. But as the diplomatic charade continued, Lunar Base Sentinel's quantum detection array registered something new. Energy signatures far beyond Neptune, approaching rapidly. The patterns were unlike the Voidborn ships, more organic in their fluctuations. Commander, Lieutenant Kapoor called, his voice tense. You need to see this. The holographic display showed the new contacts. Hundreds of them, moving faster than the Voidborn had, their formation less structured but somehow more menacing. Have the Voidborn detected them? Elena asked. Not yet. They'll be within their conventional detection range in approximately 6 hours. Elena studied the data, a chill running down her spine despite her years of training. Something about these new contacts felt wrong. Predatory in a way that made the Voidborn seem benign by comparison. Alert Director Chen and the Coalition Council, she ordered. I think our first contact protocol just got complicated. As if confirming her suspicion, the quantum arrays analysis completed, identifying patterns in the energy signatures of the approaching force. They weren't just ships. They were partially organic, their systems interwoven with living tissue. And they were accelerating on an intercept course that would bring them directly to Earth. Get me a direct line to Vextor, Elena said, her decision made. I think it's time to show the Voidborn exactly who they're dealing with. The real first contact was about to begin, and it would not go as anyone, human or Voidborn, had expected. The Guardian Protocol. The look on Supreme Commander Vextor's face when Elena's hologram materialized in the middle of the United Nations Assembly was worth recording for posterity. His mirror-like eyes widened, reflective surfaces catching the light as his composed demeanor faltered. What is the meaning of this? He demanded, looking from the hologram to the Earth delegation he had been addressing. Supreme Commander Vextor, Elena said calmly. I am Commander Elena Reyes of the Earth Defense Coalition. The people you've been speaking with are not Earth's true leadership. The coalition officers posing as world leaders stood up in unison, their demeanor shifting from submissive to professionally neutral. Your assumption about our technological capabilities was incorrect, Elena continued. We've been monitoring your approach since you entered the Kuiper Belt. However, that's no longer our primary concern. With a gesture, she brought up a holographic display showing the approaching organic ships. This is why I'm contacting you directly. These vessels will be within your detection range soon. Do you recognize them? Vextor's blue skin paled to almost white. Impossible, he whispered. They shouldn't be in this sector for another century. You know them then, Elena pressed. The Nexus Hive, Vextor replied, his arrogance evaporating. They don't negotiate. They don't communicate. They consume. Worlds, species, technology. Everything. On Lunar Base Sentinel, Elena exchanged glances with her command staff. This aligned with their analysis of the approaching force's energy signatures, a collective organism rather than individual ships. I'm going to make this simple, Commander Vextor, Elena said. We face two options. First, we can maintain our current adversarial positions, with you believing you're dealing with a primitive species easily added to your collection of protectorates. Meanwhile, the hive approaches, and we all face them separately. She paused, letting her words sink in. Or second, I can show you what humanity is really capable of, and we can discuss a genuine alliance against our common enemy. Across Earth's hidden defense network, quantum displacement fields began to shimmer and drop. Orbital platforms, previously invisible to conventional detection, phased fully into normal spacetime. Automated drone swarms emerged from hidden bases on the Moon, Mars, and various asteroids. Earth's true defensive capability revealed itself, a network far more extensive and advanced than anything the Voidborn had anticipated. On the Voidborn command ship, alarms blared as their sensors registered the suddenly appearing defenses. Weapons systems automatically locked on, but Vextor raised a hand, ordering his crew to stand down. You've been hiding, he said, his voice a mixture of shock and newfound respect. We've been preparing, Elena corrected. Since we first detected quantum signatures of advanced civilizations, we chose caution over announcement. But now we face something that threatens us both. The decision to reveal Earth's true capabilities was not made lightly. For 5 decades, humanity had maintained their deception, developing quantum technology in secret. The Guardian Protocol, Earth's ultimate defense system, had never been tested in actual combat. But the approaching hive left no choice. I need to consult with the collective leadership, Vextor said. You have 2 hours, Alina replied. The hive will be within Jupiter's orbit by then. When Vextor returned to the communication, his demeanor had changed entirely. Gone was the condescending conqueror. In his place stood a military commander facing an existential threat. The collective has authorized me to form a temporary alliance, he announced. We've encountered the hive before, on the far edges of our territory. We lost 3 colony worlds before driving them back. What can you tell us about their capabilities? Alina asked. They're a single consciousness controlling billions of engineered organisms. Their technology is partially biological, capable of adapting to attacks. Conventional weapons become less effective with each engagement as they evolve countermeasures. This matched the Coalition's analysis perfectly. The hive would be virtually immune to traditional warfare, but perhaps not to quantum technology they had never encountered. Within the hour, Alina had transferred her command to the Coalition's flagship, the EDS Prometheus, while Vextor coordinated his fleet from his command vessel. Together, they established a defensive perimeter around Earth, integrating their systems as much as security protocols would allow. You understand we can't give you full access to our quantum technology, Alina told Vextor during their strategy session. And you understand why the collective is reluctant to share our propulsion technology, he replied. But against the hive, half measures mean extinction. The compromise they reached was unprecedented, a neural interface system that would allow limited shared consciousness between human and voidborn commanders. Each would maintain control of their forces, but reaction times and coordination would be enhanced beyond what conventional communication allowed. Dr. Okamura, who had helped develop the quantum neural interface for human use, worked with voidborn technicians to ensure compatibility. This has never been attempted between different species, she warned. There are unknown risks. The hive presents a certainty, not a risk. Alina replied. Proceed with the integration. As the neural network came online, Alina experienced the disorienting sensation of perceiving through multiple consciousness streams. Vextor's thought patterns were alien yet recognizable, strategic, disciplined, concerned for his people. Through the link, she sensed his surprise at finding the same in her. Your species is full of contradictions, Commander Reyes. His thoughts came through clearly. You hide your strength yet prepare for war. You value individual freedom yet unite seamlessly in crisis. Perhaps that's why we'd survived, she replied through the neural link. Adaptation through contradiction. The first hive vessels entered the outer solar system 8 hours later. Unlike the precisely arranged voidborn ships or the strategically positioned human defenses, the hive moved like a living organism, fluid, adaptive, with tendrils and clusters forming and dissolving as they approach. All forces maintain position. Alina ordered through conventional channels while simultaneously sharing tactical assessments through the neural network. Let them make the first move. The hive's approach slowed as they detected the combined fleet. Their forward vessels extended long, filamentous structures that seemed to taste the space around them. They're analyzing us, Vextor explained, determining our capabilities. Then let's give them something to think about, Alina replied. At her command, the first layer of Earth's quantum defense activated. Not weapons, but a series of quantum displacement nodes that began altering the space-time fabric around the hive's advanced scouts. The effect was immediate. The organic ships shuddered as their sensors failed to compensate for the fluctuating reality around them. But the respite was brief. Within minutes, the hive vessels adapted, their biological systems shifting to accommodate the quantum disturbance. They resumed their advance, now moving more cautiously, but with clear purpose. Remarkable adaptation speed, Dr. Okamura noted from her station. But they're still responding algorithmically, adjusting based on known physics. Then let's introduce them to something unknown, Alina said. Initiate Guardian Protocol. Deep beneath the lunar surface, the Coalition's most closely guarded technology activated. Not a weapon in the conventional sense, but a system designed to manipulate quantum probability itself. As it powered up, reality around the Hive fleet began to shift, not just the physical space, but the underlying laws governing it. Through the neural network, Alina sensed Vextor's astonishment. "What are you doing?" His thoughts carried traces of fear and wonder. "Changing the rules," she replied. "Guardian doesn't destroy. It alters the probability of certain quantum states, making specific molecular and energy configurations temporarily impossible within its field." In practice, this meant the Hive's biological technology, dependent on precise molecular structures, began to fail unpredictably. Ships that relied on organic components suddenly found their systems collapsing as the quantum probability of their continued function approached zero. The Hive's response was immediate and frightening. The affected vessels merged, sacrificing their compromised parts to form new configurations. The collective intelligence behind them was learning, adapting with terrifying speed. Their core consciousness remains unaffected, Vextor observed through the neural link. "We need to target that directly." "Can you locate it?" Alina asked. "Not precisely, but their coordination suggests a centralized control node within their fleet formation, protected by layers of expendable vessels." Alina considered their options. The Guardian protocol was effective, but couldn't maintain its field indefinitely without risking permanent damage to spacetime in the solar system. A direct assault would cost too many lives against an enemy that adapted to conventional weapons. The solution came not from either commander, but from the neural network itself, the merged consciousness of human and voidborn, creating something new. "A quantum teleportation payload," Alina said aloud, the concept forming simultaneously in her and Vextor's minds. "Delivered directly to their control node," he continued, bypassing their physical defenses entirely. Using a modified Guardian field to create a temporary quantum tunnel, they finished together. The plan formed rapidly through the neural network, each species contributing their technological strengths. Human quantum manipulation would create the tunnel, while voidborn propulsion technology would power the delivery system. The payload itself would be simple, a quantum resonance device that would disrupt the Hive's collective consciousness. As the combined fleet engaged the Hive in conventional battle, a necessary distraction, a small team of specialists prepared the quantum payload aboard the EDS Prometheus. Dr. Okamura worked alongside voidborn engineers, their efforts coordinated through the neural network with unprecedented efficiency. "Payload ready," Dr. Okamura reported finally. "But we'll only get one attempt. The tunnel will collapse after first use, and the Hive will adapt immediately." "Then we make it count," Alina said, sharing a moment of perfect understanding with Vextor through their neural connection. The battle reached its climax as the Hive pushed toward Earth, their adaptive strategies becoming more sophisticated with each engagement. Human quantum technology and voidborn weaponry inflicted damage, but the Hive's regenerative capabilities kept them advancing relentlessly. "Guardian tunnel initializing," Alina announced. "All forces, execute maximum engagement pattern to draw their attention." The combined fleet launched a coordinated assault, pulling the Hive's defensive resources to the battle's perimeter. In that moment, beneath the chaos of conventional warfare, the quantum tunnel formed, an invisible passage through space-time leading directly to what they had identified as the Hive's control node. "Payload away," Lieutenant Kapoor confirmed. For several seconds, nothing seemed to happen. Then, at the heart of the Hive formation, a ripple of quantum energy expanded outward. There was no explosion, no dramatic destruction, just a silent pulse that spread through the Hive fleet. One by one, the organic ships stopped moving. Some began to drift aimlessly, others curled in on themselves like dying organisms. The collective consciousness that had driven them had been severed, leaving billions of engineered components without direction. It worked. Vextor's thought came through the neural link, tinged with disbelief and relief. "For now," Alina replied. "But we should verify total neutralization." The cleanup operation took days. Some Hive vessels retained localized function and had to be destroyed conventionally. Others simply died, their biological components breaking down without the controlling intelligence. A week after the battle, Elena stood on the observation deck of the Prometheus, watching as Voidborn and human ships worked together to clear the debris from Earth orbit. Beside her, Vextor had come in person for their final meeting before his return to collective space. "My leadership has reviewed our analysis of the engagement," he said formally. "They've authorized me to propose a more permanent alliance between our peoples. Not as protectorate and patron, I assume," Elena replied with a slight smile. "No," Vextor acknowledged. "As equals. Your quantum technology, combined with our propulsion systems, together we could create defenses that would make even the Hive hesitate." Elena nodded, looking out at Earth below them. Still peaceful, still largely unaware of how close they had come to extinction. The Coalition Council had already voted. After 50 years of hiding, humanity was ready to step onto the galactic stage, but on their own terms. "We accept your proposal, Commander," she said, "but with conditions. Earth remains sovereign. We will join your collective as founding members of a new defensive pact, not as additions to your existing power structure." Vextor considered this, his mirror eyes reflecting the blue of Earth below. "The collective has existed for millennia without fundamental change," he said finally. "But perhaps that is precisely why we nearly fell to the Hive. Stagnation is its own form of vulnerability." He extended his hand in the human gesture he had learned during their time working together. "To adaptation through contradiction, Commander Reyes." Elena took his hand, sealing an alliance that would reshape the future of both their species. "To new beginnings, Commander Vextor." Below them, Earth continued its rotation, its population going about their lives, not yet knowing that their place in the cosmos had forever changed. Humanity had prepared in secret, defended themselves with innovation, and now would emerge into a wider universe, not as conquerors or subjects, but as guardians of a new kind of peace. The Quantum Guardian Initiative had begun.